Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Finding the Good. I am here with my friend Kelsey. We've actually known each other for a few years now. We met at church, and I'm so excited because she has such a powerful story, and I'm so honored that she would share it with me and everyone else. So Kelsey actually did not know her biological father growing up. Why don't you just go ahead and tell us a little bit about your upbringing, not knowing your biological father?
Okay, yeah. If I sat here and told you that I had like this awful childhood and there was so much missing from my life and nobody loved me, I would totally be lying. But I did have some voids, and I did feel the missing link, and it did take time for my father who raised me, because I did have a family unit, and I did have people who loved me and cared for me, and I had my biological mother. But the father who raised me, it took a lot of time for that bond to cultivate into a father-daughter relationship. I remember the day I looked at him and I was crying, and I said, "I don't know why you don't like me." And he cried, and that was like when we bonded. But a lot of the curiosity that I had was within myself, like who am I? Like almost like I don't know my identity, that sense of belonging. And as a Christian woman now, I know that is found in Christ, in Christ alone.
So the father figure that you had growing up, did you know he wasn't your dad? Like, did you always?
I always knew.
Okay.
Yes, that was something that I always, as long as I can remember, I knew. My biological father did not know I exist. So that was different. He had no idea. And my mom didn't quite know who he was either. So it was a challenge, she didn't have much information on him at all.
Me and Kelsey actually, what years? What was it? 2017?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
2017.
It was going into like 2018.
Okay.
Because
Okay, so I remember, we're getting to the good part. So I remember me and her actually had lunch at Chipotle, and she was telling me that she was like determined to find her dad. She didn't have much of a lead, but she wanted to go on, I think, was it Ancestry.com? Yes. So kind of talk about that journey, like what prompted you? Well, obviously you wanted to meet him and know who he was, but what kind of jump started that process?
A lot of people ask, like, well, why did you wait so long to try and find him? And the truth is, like, I didn't know there was a way that I could find him. A part of me was very curious, and I wanted to know who he was. But another part of me was like, this man deserves to know that he has a daughter. That was a huge thing too. So I always knew that there was a pizza place that they met at, and that was all the information I had. My cousin had already gone downtown, tried to get the information of the pizza place, and we couldn't find it. So that was a bust. And then I had a friend and my cousin actually tell me two separate stories of cousins reconnecting and figuring out like they were, kind of in the same situation as I am. And so they found each other through Ancestry. And I had no idea that Ancestry could link you to family members. Yeah. And so that was all new to me. So I decided to go for it and try that and see if I connected to anybody.
Wow.
And I did. And that was how I found him.
Okay. So walk me through as you started getting closer and closer, and as the pieces kind of started coming together.
I feel like it was years. And looking back, it was like literally weeks, and it's crazy. So Ancestry usually takes about a few months to get your DNA results back, and mine came back within a week. I opened it up and there was really not any close matches. And so I just emailed everybody that was like a really close, as close as I could be match, and told them, I'm trying to find my biological father, and explain the situation a little bit. He, lives in San Antonio, Texas at one point in time, and the year I was born, and the pizza place. And it took a while, and then I uploaded it to another website and did the same thing. And then a cousin came back, and he was he's my grandfather's first cousin or something like that. and he's the one who said, I think that I think he said, I think my cousin has a set of twins, and that one of them could be your dad. And he said, but please don't tell them that I told you anything, because I don't know how they would react. And I was like, okay, a set of twins. Oh, great. So it could be either or. What do I do? So we just searched him on Facebook, and I look exactly like my dad. So it was really easy. And his twin is not on Facebook. So it was easy to like determine. And so I Facebook messaged him.
So if you couldn't already tell, she found her biological father.
Yes.
So kind of, let me just fix this. So kind of talk about meeting him for the first time, because Kelsey has met him. And so talk about how that all went down.
Okay, so I ended up sending him a Facebook message, and I did it like, this is a story. I said, I'm trying to piece together a story, and maybe you could help me figure it out. And I said, there was a boy that met a girl in a pizza place that his parents owned. And I kind of went through like the whole, just to kind of jog his memory. And I said at the end, my DNA leads me back to you in some way. So I'm related to you in some way, and you're either my biological father or one of your siblings is, and if so, could you please call me back? And I let him know I didn't want anything from him, didn't have any expectations. I just want to know who my dad is. My phone rings.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like trembling, so I'm like, this has to be him. And I answer it, and he was just like, Kelsey, can I talk to Kelsey? And I'll never forget his voice. And he's like, I'm your dad. And he's like, and I love you. Those are his words. I love you. I love you. And he couldn't stop telling me that. A few days later, he was walking through my front door, and it was crazy. I mean, it just felt so just not real.
This is happening. Oh my God. My heart is like about to jump out of my chest.
Oh God. Want some candy? Hello.
I love you so much. Thank you for fighting for me. Thank you for fighting for me.
Here's a man I had envisioned, and for so long I had this image of him imprinted in my mind. And here he is in front of me. I thought that I would never in a million years ever thought I'd have a chance to see him ever. And so it was beautiful, and it was bittersweet, because there's so much lost time, and it's hard to focus on that. But we're very happy and very blessed that we get this opportunity to even know each other. And so it came at a crazy time, because the father who raised me actually passed away this past year. So it's like, now my focus is really building a bond with him, and it's so bittersweet, because it took a while to get that bond with, my father who raised me, and now I'm trying to bond with this dad. So it's challenging, but a blessing nonetheless. It's been really cool.
And with my story, I can't remember if you're familiar, but I had a dad growing up who was addicted to drugs, and so he actually got saved, I think, when I was 21 maybe. And so I think there was a lot of, regret in our family as well. Like, oh my gosh, there's been so much time that we could have, been this family, could have done all these things. But I will say, to encourage you, like, God will restore those years. He will make up for what you think is lost time. I mean, just in itself, like him, bringing you all together. And I know that I've seen the goodness of God in that area, because now it's like, I don't even think about those days where, he was addicted to drugs and all those things that happened. It almost feels like some memory or some other lifetime or something. And so God has just been so good with uniting our family and restoring those years. And so walking through all of that now, and now having a relationship with your dad, what is the obvious, getting to meet your dad, I'm sure, is the good, but what is the good that you've seen come out of this situation?
Oh gosh, God has done some work and it's been incredible. I've been able to really help so many people through this process as well. And that's been a blessing. Just getting this, like I said, this opportunity to get to know each other, to build this bond, and to actually realize that the voids that I needed filled come from God. And that's been good. That has been good, because I relied so many years on if only I could find my biological father, I would feel complete. If only, if only. But at the end of the day, it wasn't until I found him and I realized that's not what's gonna fill these voids. In so many ways, just knowing like my true father was alongside me the entire time. And
really good.
it's like I really didn't lose. We're gaining. We have so much time ahead of us, and like you said, I know the Lord is going to restore the time. I know he is, because I feel it already, and it's been only 2.5 years, I mean, and I feel it already so much. We're coming to a place where the loss of time isn't such a big, focus, and now our focus is just being a family,
Well, thank you so much for being so bold and coming on here to share your story. I think, like she said, her story has already impacted so many, but I'm praying that someone watching this is hearing this for the first time, and that they're going to be impacted as well. I'm going to link all of Kelsey, or your YouTube, and where they can find you on Instagram, so you can continue to follow her journey. But thank you so much again, and thanks guys for watching.